The author discusses the issue of community harassment and gang stalking and advises that if the entire community is involved, it is best to leave. He shares his own experience growing up in a town dominated by a religious cult and how he was oblivious to their activities. The cult used gossip, collusion, and other tactics to control and harm the community. The author suggests visiting friends or relatives in other states to see how differently one is treated and advises moving away from toxic communities as soon as possible. He also discusses institutionalized bullying and how some communities are so toxic that they need to be cleansed with fire. He ultimately advocates for moving away from such communities. How do I stop community harassment, gang stalking, and regain my life back? Writing by CLiNT JAHN. If the entire community supports such harassment and this is not a paranoid delusion, then your community is too toxic for you to remain there. You cannot change them. Your only option is to move. I grew up in a town dominated by a weird non-dom religious cult. Their reach was impressive. From a counterintelligence point of view, they had infiltrated every other church, support groups, extracurricular groups, schools, colleges, and local government. They even had a paramilitary BRAC with chapters in other states which used to bomb abortion clinics. It was spooky, and I was completely oblivious to their existence until my senior year of high school, because I had no idea what red flags to look for. They operated primarily via gossip, blacklisting, and collusion. They would feign friendship to collect incriminating data, which they would misinterpret and misrepresent. They would go to parties and 12-step meetings to learn incriminating tidbits they could use against others in the community. They would encourage women to divorce their husbands and provide step-by-step instructions for how to set them up on bogus domestic violence charges. Then that woman would become 100% dependent on their group. That happened to my mom. It was ugly. These networks are multi-generational, well-financed, and deeply ingrained within community culture. I suggest visiting friends or relatives in other states and see how differently you are accepted and treated. The entire time I was forced to reside in Broome County, I was made to feel like an outcast pariah whom it was open season on. I was shocked when visiting other cities I was treated with courtesy and respect. I moved to another county and burned a lot of bridges. Now I live over 1,000 miles away and will never go back. There are all types of bullying, and often it becomes institutionalized and normalized, like that backwards mountain town in Colorado where the entire community felt that anal rape was an appropriate way to haze new members of the high school wrestling team, and proceeded to attack the victim's family for reporting it. Some communities are so toxic, they need to be cleansed with fire. So yeah, pack your shit and move as soon as possible. C.R. JAHN, author of FTW Self-Defense.